All right. So we've restarted these lives. I had a couple hiccups earlier. So right now, getting this reset up again. Okay, here we are. All right, yes, you are back. Thank you for tuning back in. I felt like I had to restart and cleanse my palette after those like random trolls. So here we go. Doing some cleaning real quick. And since I already signed off, I can play one song. Alexa, play Spotify.
Okay, here's Spotify.
Off. All right. So so anytime you play a song that's known, you'll get a copyright check from YouTube. This is the only time I've done it, but once I used to do it a lot more when I did different types of streams, but I realized that I can't. So anyway, that's that. So since we played it, yes, I do like it a lot. And since we played it, I didn't understand any of the words. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in this wonderful song of yours that you were sharing? Let's see, which one of my friends is live that I can invite? Says invite your friends live. So yeah, feel free to share. It's about a breakup. Wow, she seems very enthusiastic about a breakup. So this line is probably about as long. Goes to the thumb to there, about 1, 2.5. So 1, 2.5. So one of my friends is live. Let's see if they'll jump in. Send me the English. I guess I could have looked it up. I can technically look it up myself, but I definitely also enjoy. I definitely enjoy hearing what other people say about songs. Like, I've never really had that opportunity because I listen to so much English music or music in English that, you know, it kind of just the words explain themselves because I speak English, but since I don't speak Turkish, I think this is a good opportunity to have a conversation and ask, like, what does this song mean? You know, like, what does it mean to you? How has the song affected your life in some way? Has it helped you get through a breakup? Has it, you know, is it just a fun song? Like, if I was to describe Taylor Swift's music, and to someone who didn't understand it in a different language, I'd be like, you know, her song is really just about like these crazy relationships she has and the anger that she has with some men or women, or probably not women, but, like, you know, the anger that she has from broken relationships or whatever. You know, if I had to describe a Taylor Swift song, I can't name one off the top of my head. I'm sure. Like, Under Pressure, I can't name a single Taylor Swift song. Wrecking Ball is Miley Cyrus. Let me think. I don't know. I'm thinking of something like about a book. Something about a book from Taylor Swift. But I've thought about saying these words for a long time, but my tongue and conscience never allowed it. Extinguish this miracle burning inside me. It will pay the price for your cheap love. Woof. And I'm sure in the Turkish language that those words are much more poetic and beautiful sounding together. But yeah, so right now I'm continuing this exercise of going through this material. Going through this art material. But yeah, thanks for introducing me to an interesting Turkish song. So, İrem Derici Gülsen Bergen Zeki Müren Bengu Hadis. That's great. All right, so Megami, real talk, you know, I really appreciate you sharing all of these wonderful artists that you like. And, you know, I'll be honest, in the amount of time that I have, I don't think I'll be able to listen to all of those wonderful artists. So, you know, just out of curiosity and your musical tastes, you know, for my YouTube is more of like a conversation. I really like to hear about people's thoughts on things. Even if I may not experience all of those things that they want me to experience. So out of curiosity, what is it about Vito or this song? Like, how did it come about for you? Like, why does this music speak to you? Like I would say, I would listen to, when I was a kid, I would listen to a lot of metal. I don't like the lyrics of metal, most metal, but you know, when I was a kid, I would listen to metal because it would wake me up and get me ready to go to the gym. It was like my pre-workout music, as you might call it. So aside from the, you know, obviously it's cultural, right? Like you're Turkish, you like to listen to Turkish music. But out of curiosity, you know, what is it about the music that really gets you? So you really enjoy songs. It seems that you enjoy songs about love, and more importantly than love, it's about breakup. Right? Is that the case here? I mean, I think it's like universal, right? The subject of relationships, love, breakup, heartbreak. I mean, these are like, just as music is pretty much universal, so are the topics that artists tend to sing about, right? Human struggle, breakup. I don't know, I guess those are probably the most popular subjects, right? Like if you're going through such a situation, a tragedy, a breakup, a you know, death in the family, you know, where else can you go to like really soothe your soul, to really, you know, heal? ODST guy, welcome. How are you? And I think that's a really important question, you know, like where do people go to heal? And I think music is one of those things. Yeah, awesome, ODST guy. What brings you here? Megami was just telling me about many wonderful Turkish artists. Most popular breakup song is by Bargue. So how would you? So I'm sure, you know, I don't want to assume things, but if you're a fan of Turkish music and you're using Megami Saiko as a name, which I would guess is Japanese, I'd also assume that, and you speak, and you're, you know, typing in fluent English, I think it's safe to assume that you're familiar with American music. So who would be like the Bargue of America? And if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, please let me know. I feel like I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Bargue? Bungu? I feel like it's pronounced like much more Bargue. In one of her concerts, needed 45,000. She tried on stage. Wow, yeah, that's got to be a powerful thing. Having 45,000 people sing along with you. It's quite an emotional experience there. I can only imagine what that. I can just barely imagine what that might be like. I mean, 45,000 people. That is a lot of people at once singing. So one of her concerts. So DST, you said you're good. What can make it better? What can make your day better? Would you like to see a picture of a pineapple? Would that help? Just kidding. But like, really. In one of her concerts, first one was right from the political view, of course. Alex Appel. Ah, you're back. Billy Paul? What about Billy Paul? Alright, well anyway. Ooh, excuse me. I'm working into this hand, so let me work some of these shadows into the hand here. I'm gonna go. We are at secular state. Yikes. Yeah, government is quite the topic, for sure. Yeah, so ODST. I am drawing something. This is a hand that I'm doing a basic sketch of. I should have shared a little bit earlier, but we're going to be working this hand, and then in a few moments we're going to see how this ends up turning into an actual full looking hand. How this little like stick figure-esque drawing, I do not know who that person is. I'm not familiar. I do admit, I am quite unfamiliar with many of much about. I'm not familiar with a lot about Turkey at all. I'm very unfamiliar about Turkey. Oh, he's the founder of the Republic of Turkey. Okay. So yeah, ODST, by the way, what I'm doing, just to give you an update, ODST, is I'm working on the Ultimate Bargue drawing collection. Oh no, I'm in the United States. I live in Los Angeles. But Megami, I'm pretty sure you could see the other person chatting here. Megami. But yeah, Megami's from Turkey, or loves Turkey or something, or is part Turkish. I think you said, or Greek, Turkish, Balkan. So Megami is many things, and she's just sharing a little bit, or he or she, I'm not exactly sure, but we'll just call them Megami, is just they are just sharing a lot of interesting ideas. But yeah, I live in Los Angeles. I am born and raised in the not born in the United States, but raised in the United States. And right now we're going to go in and use let's go with a dark color here. Let's go with brown. Go with a dark brown. Yeah, you know, my conversations usually go wherever this takes it. So, you know, if you have an interesting thing to discuss, feel free to jump in. Let's talk about life's woes and joys and woes. So much to celebrate, so much to be upset about, a lot of things. Let's see. I'll share one thing. What up, Goat Soup Official? How you doing? So I got Goat Soup Official on Twitch. So I think your English writing is fluent, but I can't tell how good your English speaking is. So yeah, I'm Chinese, for the record, everybody. I'm Chinese American artist. Goat Soup Official on Twitch. What's going on? How are ya? So we are doing some artwork right now. Nice of you to join us. By the way, if you're on Twitch, I'm also streaming on YouTube. So if I'm having a conversation, it's not because I'm talking to the imaginary friends in my mind. Or you know what? Maybe I am. Maybe I can't prove that the people that I'm talking to on YouTube are real. I don't know. They might be imagined in my fantasy world. Like ODST, can you prove that you're real? Megami, can you prove that you're real for me somehow? Speaking is good, but because of your jaws, you sometimes randomly stutter. I sometimes randomly stutter. Like this. But you're saying your jaw makes you randomly stutter. That's interesting. because I randomly stutter, but I don't think it's because of my jaw. I think it's mostly because my thoughts are flying at a faster pace than my words. That's what it makes me. Yeah. So goat soup, are you official? Are you real? What is goat soup? The greatest of all time soup official. You are the greatest of all time soup? The greatest soup of all time? What would you call that soup? Just goat soup? You have TMJ. TMJ. What is TMJ? Something M-jaw? Misaligned jaw. Oh, wow. That's interesting. So does that like affect the way you eat as well? Thanks for sharing. I know this is personal stuff. So for you to feel comfortable sharing something like that, I appreciate it. So how many people are watching me on Twitch? I just have one person on Twitch right now. Their name is Goat Soup Official. And have I thought about animating? No, I've never thought. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I have thought about animating before. Like I got into 3D animating and it was just not for me. 3D and like putting all the pieces together, and then like, I guess traditional animating took a lot more work. You had to draw every single frame. And you just had farms of people drawing frames. I just can't. I don't consider myself a commercial artist because commercial artist is very challenging. I was asked this question in art school, or like my art teacher, when I went to a digital art program, was like talking to me. He's like, if you're gonna do art, you really got to decide, like, do you want to be a fine artist or do you want to be do you want to be just a regular, do you want to be a commercial artist, like an artist who, does video game and concept and all that? And yeah, I had to ask myself the question, and I was like, yeah, I think I'd rather do fine art. But, fine art is much more difficult to build a career in. But I've never really been one to shy away from challenge. So, you need surgery or Botox to treat it. Wow, okay. Huh, that's interesting. I met someone the other day who also had some jaw issues. But let's see, what job do I have? So I'm an artist, so this is part of one of my gigs. On top of that, I'm an actor, so I work in Los Angeles, do various small commercials, and work in film and TV. So yeah, that's what I do for work sometimes. It's not always active. Like last year we had a strike. I don't know if any of y'all heard about it. But that's why there's not as many good movies out this year. Because there was a strike last year. Well, maybe not as many good movies or TV shows as of recent because of a major strike. But yeah. So I've been in a Nest, a bedding commercial. I've been in a Walmart series, like a Walmart. So actually Walmart did a promotion for TikTok, or commercial through TikTok, where it was like a limited series. I don't know if you follow Walmart on TikTok, but TikTok had a limited running series that they released like as a commercial. And I already forgot the name. I was only on it for a couple days, but what was it? It was like I Heart or Love the Holidays. It was like a holiday special on Facebook, TikTok. I did a PSA for the Army one time. So PSA isn't really a commercial, but we can label it as such. I've done a PSA for a commercial. So those are some of the things I've done in just the past recent times, but it was a tough last couple of years because of strike last year and a bunch of other stuff. But I think the industry is getting back on its feet, so that's great. And Goat says Goat wants to draw and act. Well, that's great. That's awesome. I totally recommend it. If you are okay with the lifestyle. And the lifestyle isn't actually, what you might imagine. But yeah, you have to make a lot of choices, a lot of very challenging life decisions. As you might imagine. So let's see. Is LA a good place to live? LA can be a good place to live. LA is a great place, but there are many, issues with it. But overall, I haven't been to that many places throughout the world. I've been to China, I've been to United Kingdom, but LA, I would say, the weather is just, I'm 34. So the weather in Los Angeles is pretty amazing. It's unbeatable, I think, weather in Los Angeles. For the majority of the year, it has its times when, the weather is not so good, but for the majority of the year, the weather in Los Angeles is absolutely incredible. Incredible. Yeah, it's very hard to beat. You've been good at drawing, but not painting. You tried painting, but you're bad at it. But yeah, I am definitely at least 27. You actually got that right. Most people say, oh, you look 17 or 18. I'm like, I definitely don't look that young. Actually, you know what? People haven't said that to me in a while. They say I look college age. But for a long time, until I was 27 or 28, for whatever reason, it was like 28 was the age when people stopped thinking I looked like I was in high school. And then, after I hit that, people actually started to think I looked 20-something. So I'm guessing it's not until I turn 40 that people are going to think I'm like in my 30s. So you've been good at drawing, but not painting. All right, go. Well, hey, thanks for letting me, thanks for sharing. So that's awesome that you're good at drawing. That's like drawing is like the beginnings of good art, Like if you can draw, you can design. If you can draw, you can feel confident like in almost any other field of art, because you can start to plan and sketch out things you need to do. So that's great. And what would you say is the challenge for you, the challenge you had that made it difficult for you to learn to draw? Or learn to paint. You said you had some difficulties learning to paint. So what would you say those challenges were? Why was it difficult for you to pick up painting? Megami, because we can't. What do you mean? Because we can't what? I don't remember the context. You think painting's too messy? Yeah, I guess if you can't get over the mess of painting. I mean, I've seen some really organized artists. You know, you could still be really organized and paint, but it's really not easy to do so, to stay organized. Is there a proper way to hold the brush? I didn't even know there was. I didn't even know there was a proper way to hold a brush, honestly. Who told you that? Who told you you can't hold a brush properly? Sahiba S. Sahiba, welcome. How are you? I hope you're doing fantastic. So, Gogh, you said your body refuses. I think accepting that your body refuses to do certain things and doing it your way is a very powerful way of creating art. So if you're quitting painting, if you quit painting or feel like you can't be a good painter because your body refuses to hold a brush the way somebody told you to hold the brush, I think you should keep trying painting. If you really want to. If you don't want to do painting, that's one thing. But if you feel like, you know, you don't want to paint because some teacher said that, you know, you're not holding the brush correctly, and you know, and because of that, you stop painting, then I think you should definitely just do it anyway, despite what your teachers say. But that's just me. Like if a teacher told me to not do something, I'd be like, I might or may not start an argument, and then I would just do it anyway on my own free time. But that's me personally. And of course it depends on what it was, right? Like if they said I was doing something wrong, I would probably find my own way to do it. Yeah, I say hold the brush however you want. So you said your body refuses to hold the brush the right way, which means, but you know, honestly, I don't think there's a right way for holding a brush. There's like no right art. The reason art is so difficult is because there's no right way to do things. But that's why it also makes it so easy if you're willing to trust yourself and, you know, do things the way that you really want to do it. And I'm talking fine art. You know, commercial art, you're doing it for a purpose. You're making art so that, you know, whether for a commercial, an advertisement, a magazine, you know, a film studio, whatever, commercial art's different. But as far as fine art is concerned, and even some commercial art, I think that where your habits, whatever your body wants you to really do, if you can't hold an oil pastel stick like this for whatever reason, and you need to hold it with your mouth, obviously use non-toxic oil pastels, but just for example, if I needed to hold it with my mouth, I would figure out a way to draw with my mouth. I can't do that, I don't need to, but, you know, just as an example. I hope this is non-toxic. It doesn't say it's non-toxic. Let's see. Yeah, don't do as I do. Let's see if these are non-toxic. I'm looking desperately for a non-toxic sign, but I'm not seeing any. Bright and vivid colors, so don't eat your oil pastels. If you had to use your mouth, I would suggest using a safer material that is also or add like an extender, right? Like, take something that you can attach to this or something. So don't put oil pastels in your mouth. None of this says that it's safe, but it does have the AP warning sign, which means that it's approved by the ACMI, which means that everything that's supposed to be listed is listed. This is XLP 17, so I don't know. I'm not going to do that more than once. All right, Flashback is here. What's up, Flashback? Yeah, I can only imagine, Megami, what it's like to live under a government that doesn't allow you to speak negatively. Fortunately, I've never had to worry about that living in America. And how do I feel about the Chinese government? You know, I don't have negative or positive opinions about the Chinese government. I know they're communist. I know I wouldn't want to live in a communist government. I wouldn't want America to be communist. But hold on one second, I got people at the door. But you know, China is what it is. So that's their. Hey, babe. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I'm streaming right now. Alright, so my lady brought me some Starbucks Refresh. Yum. So yeah, communism and CCP. Yeah, I know China is a concern for America, but we're still trading partners, you know, like, concern as in, so I won't get like too deep into this political conversation. For whatever reason, whenever I do, my Facebook kicks me off live streaming. Just the other day I got in, I was literally just saying what somebody else wrote. And my Facebook instantly kicked me off. So Facebook is not a good place to stream political ideas. However, since you're asking, since this seems to be something, I don't think Americans are afraid of talking about politics. From my experience, Americans talk about politics all the time. But at the same time, like, you know, the Chinese government, I'm American, like, why would I get involved in China's politics? From what I understand, China is China. They're a communist government. Nothing I say or do would influence that. Crayon's good. So these are oil pastels. They didn't taste one way or the other. Yeah, you know, it's definitely one of those subjects. You know, in California, there's definitely a lot of political conversations going on. But here's the thing, this is an art stream. I'm not a political artist. So, you know, honestly, just like in the context of what I do here, it's not a political stream. So, like, it wouldn't make sense. Yes, so I was chewing on ice, the ice that would come out of this piece.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's delicious. Huh?
Does it taste? I just want to
Yeah. Come get your sip.
I'm going to cook dinner tonight.
Yeah, okay.
Not for a while, though.
Alright, well, I need some time.
Ooh, that's delicious.
Yeah, refreshers are better than coffee.
Do you want a straw?
No, I'm good. I'm just drinking straight out of it.
Okay. Cool, cool.
Crunchy water, yeah. So,
Did you see your document?
yes. So what do I think about America's president? You know, he's... yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot that needs to be fixed. That he... I don't think he's going to be the guy to do it. I wouldn't say I'm his biggest fan, but you know what? He's the American president. I've always been one to mostly support whoever's in power. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that needs to be adjusted. Anyway, let's see. So Megami says, so my excited. Don't drink Starbucks. Has. Huh. Well, I never heard about having that in Starbucks. I mean, this is red, so I don't know. Why am I good at art? Are you going back out because the doors?
Yeah, I know.
Are you going back out?
Yeah, why?
Because the door's too loud. It's like
Oh. Yeah,
all the sounds like escaping.
I'll shut it.
Why am I good at art? Thank you. Yes, it is a Oh. Why am I good at art? Because I practice a lot. I spend a lot of time practicing my artwork. Lots and lots of time. And when I'm not doing art, I'm probably thinking about it. It's like, it's an unhealthy obsession. Yeah, I would say that I have an unhealthy obsession with art. But thanks for saying that. So let's see. Is it true that Americans, people, mostly drive 4x4s and SUVs? Let me see. I'm gonna think. Depends on where. It depends on where you live, because there are a lot of Americans there are a lot of 4x4s and SUVs, but you know, SUVs are mostly for like families, and there's quite a lot of families. You know, of course, a family is gonna want like a SUV, right? And then 4x4s, so trucks, it depends on where you live. So I live in California. There's a lot of people the majority of people here have just like your average car, Toyota, Honda. But, you know, Priuses. Yeah, exactly. So sedans and hatchback. Okay, so maybe compared to 0.1%, the U.S. does drive a lot of 4x4s. And if you came to America, you would totally be like, whoa, there's so many 4x4s compared to Turkey. But yeah, there's so many sedans. I mean, there's a lot of luxury cars in Los Angeles too. Bentley, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghini, Porsche. Sedans, sports cars, Mazdas. Like, Los Angeles has such a huge variety of cars. How is it in LA? What do you mean? How is what? Oh yeah, by the way, I don't live by myself. I have I have 2 cats, a parakeet, and my girlfriend's out here. We live together. We are a live together couple. So here we go. Paint down. There's a Fiat, Renault, Mercedes. I've never heard of Skoda, Dacia. I've never heard of Skoda or Dacia. But yeah, there's a lot of Fiat. There's not as many Fiats here or Renaults, but you know, Mercedes and BMW. But the most common here is a Toyota or Honda. As for luxury brands, definitely Mercedes, BMW. A lot of Lexus here as well. Alright, so what do we got? Let's share a little update here. Getting a little progress along the way. Getting some shadow into these hands, and right now we're going to slowly improve. You can draw amazingly, but you can't draw hands. Hey, Shaz Bear, welcome. You can draw amazingly, but you can't draw hands. We got this brown. We're gonna go with a dark green. Especially Corolla and Yaris models. Okay, so goat. That sounds like quite a predicament you have, because hands are definitely important to draw.
Nope.
Nope what?
He's not eating yet. It's not dinner time for him. You'd like it to be. It's not.
So goat, here's a real question. Like, how many hands would you say you've drawn in your entire life? You've drawn 300 plus hands, and you're still like, okay, so here's the question. Are you actually bad at drawing hands, or do you just think you're not good at drawing hands? I think they could look better. Alright, well that's fine. That doesn't mean you're bad. That doesn't mean you're bad. And you know what? Sometimes you just gotta maybe appreciate your own personal style, your own way of doing things, your own methods of, your own methods of how you interpret something. How you interpret an artwork.
Wait, what's there? Not more. Not smaller. So there. Suck it up.
So yeah, go. I mean, I'd be happy to look at some hands you draw. Do you have like a social media page, Goat, or do you just solely are you a streamer? I do multi-stream, as you might be able to tell, since I'm on YouTube and Twitch. So since I multi-stream, I can't really see people's profile photos the way I might if I only streamed on one page. So, feel free to share a little bit more about what you do, your practice, what brings you here, what brought you to this page specifically, out of, the many, many exciting streamers that are out there. I know I'm not the only one doing this.
Just put food in your bowl. Oh no, I just looked at it.
So Flashback asks, do I play any games? Yes, I do play video games. The one that I've played most recently, literally the last game I touched, was Fallout 4. That was the last video game I touched, which was just probably like a day ago, 2 days ago maybe. Fallout 4, and then before that, I had Destiny 2, that was for free on PS5. So I definitely play video games. I grew up on video games, although, you know, I definitely don't play as much as I do when I was a kid, but, you know, I do have my phases. So, do Americans, the white ones, treat Asian people nicely? It depends. Depends on where you are. I would say most Americans in California, it's not that they don't treat people badly. It's just like, you know, they're not like, also depends, like, you know, there's a lot of what do you want to call, like Asian fetish is a thing, right? Like people that fetishize Asian people, or, you know, this could be for any ethnicity, but since we're talking about Asian Americans in America right now, yeah, no, so they have that, but besides that, do they treat us nicely? In California, it's pretty like, in California, most people don't have as much negative experiences, I think, compared to other states. There's definitely some places in America that are very racist and still quite racist. But as far as how people treat Asians, it's not like, you know, they don't treat us wish I had a good way to answer this. It's just like whatever. It's not like, yeah. It's just normal, right? The simple answer to your question is no. They don't treat us badly, but it's like they don't really think about it as a thing, I guess. Or maybe they do. They see me as Asian, of course, but in California, it's not a big issue. In California, the population of Asian Americans is massive. It's like there are certain towns where, like, out of every 1,000 people, 900 are Asian American, right? So 90% of some of the neighborhoods in Southern California are Asian Americans. So I don't have to deal with the same type of potential racism as someone might deal with in a different state. So I might be the wrong person to ask about, do Americans treat Asians badly? I could say I've only ever been treated mostly nicely. Although I lived in Arkansas one time, and although no one like straight up was racist to me when I lived in Arkansas, I will say, hey, what's up, Nate? How you doing today? Good to see you. Although when I lived in Arkansas, I don't think anyone was directly racist to me. I do think there was plenty of people that were indirectly racist. But, you know, I don't like to just assume things. So, you know, sometimes people have a bad day, you know, sometimes whatever. So, there's that. But yeah, this is painted on cardboard. One day I was doing this. One day I went to go do this painting. It's the statue of David, but there's a version of it in California. and I forgot to bring my canvas. So I had an Amazon box sitting in the back of my car. And I just decided to use the Amazon box and paint on that. But turned out okay. It's my first time painting on cardboard. I wouldn't recommend oil painting on cardboard, but you know what? If it's what you got, it's what you got. I wasn't going to turn all the way back around and give up just because I painted on cardboard. So Nate, here's what we got going on right now. I am streaming on YouTube as well. So that's who I'm talking to, in case you're wondering. I'm not, I don't have imaginary friends. But yeah, so that's what we're working on right now. Good to have you here. Let's see. So, Turkish people assume that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stereotyping in America. And you know, like, I know as an Asian American that I really have to like be aware of stereotypes, but there's some people that are just so like they have no clue that they're stereotyping and they just don't realize it. But I think being Asian American, I can become more conscious of that. So got Landon Had. What's going on, Landon? How are you doing? I see you sharing a lot of your thoughts, but not really going into any detail on a single one. Should get a room for some art and have a huge setup. Are you talking to me? Yes, I definitely will at some point. That's the goal. But for now, so Megami, I don't think you'll be discriminated if you say you're Turkish to a random American. Although I will say, Los Angeles is heavily Armenian American. There's a huge Armenian American population in Los Angeles, and they are very upset at what happens in Turkey. Now, you know, I don't think that they are anti-Turkish. They're just anti what's happening in Turkey. So, you know, it all depends. I will admit that if I was Turkish living in Los Angeles, I would feel very uncomfortable having openly displaying Turkish pride, which I think that's a sad thing because it can get very political here. But yeah, that's the upsetting potential answer there, especially in Los Angeles. It's very heavily Armenian American. There's historically conflict with Armenia and Turkey. And, you know, I have had friends that were Turkish. Yeah. So I have had friends that are Turkish that have actually left Los Angeles. And I don't know the exact reason they left Los Angeles. But it was a time when there was a lot of Armenian activity as far as Armenian pride and everything. So, you know, there's that one thing about living in Los Angeles. But I don't know if the experience, yes, so that's what I'm talking about. So yeah. And again, some of that is just assumption and based on what I've seen, because, you know, I've seen it in Los Angeles. There's a lot of, you'll see on the back of cars, for like an entire year and a half, people would have like pictures of AK-47s on the back of their car, literally assault rifles on the back of their car, and it would say, "Defend Armenia." So, you know, in defense, I guess it's not aggressive, but it's also very aggressive. And you know what, even if I was not Turkish or Armenian, I would feel uncomfortable seeing those AK-47s posted on people's cars. But anyway, I don't go into conversation on the how I feel about the events, but yeah, I'm not gonna talk about what Anil said. However, that is the general environment in Los Angeles. But I don't have to worry about that because I'm Asian American. And I guess it affects me because it is a local thing, but yeah, I don't know. It's a tough situation. It's one of those things. Yeah, no, I mean, Megami, it's definitely sad to feel that way, that, you know, it's not your fault to be born somewhere. And you know, there's a lot of horrible things happening in the world. And whatever. So, Anil, welcome. Does who need water? You open your art box and you have oil pastels. Oil pastels do not need water. And honestly, from my experience, they do not need water. Alright, so Shazbear. Yes, we got a pet bird. We got a pet parakeet. Parakeet is a very, very chatty parakeet. They are a chatty parakeet. The parakeet talks more than I do. But yeah. So I do make the effort to, since this is an art chat, and I did make this day's chat about the woes and joys of life, I do understand why politics would get into this conversation. However, I think it's a good opportunity to keep going. It's 3:02 a.m. Megami. Wow. All right. Well, I guess it's nice that you're here, right? It's great for you to be here and spend time with us, out of all people. It's 3:02 a.m. You can't fall asleep. You know what you should, if you're asking me what you should do, look for Joe Dispenza meditation. I don't know if you're into meditation, but if you want to fall asleep, here's two ideas for you. Joe Dispenza meditation, pineal gland. Actually, that might be too advanced for you. Just look up Joe Dispenza meditation. And then 2, if you're into that stuff. If you're not, don't do it. Like, some people are not into meditation. They believe it's bad for you. They, you know, I'm not. If you're against meditation and that type of stuff, then don't check it out. But if you are, I would recommend it. But yeah, Joe Dispenza. Number 2, draw something. Hey, that's an idea. Dancing yourself to sleep. That's cool. Do you do Turkish dancing? Is that a thing you do? So you want to dance yourself to sleep? That's a good idea too. Let us know if you do that. Let us know if you decided to dance yourself to sleep. So Shazbear, how do I find motivation to draw when I don't want to? Well, you know what they say, Megami. Dance like no one's watching. Hassan Bayar has joined. What's up, Hassan Bayar? I feel like I've seen that name somewhere. But Shazbear, since we're talking about art, I'll give him the floor. How do I find motivation to draw when I don't want to? How do I find motivation? There's 2 parts to this question. The first part of this question. Thanks for the likes, Nate. Really appreciate it. The first part of this question is before I build a habit, right? So if you don't have the habit already, like if you have the habit of drawing just when you don't want to, if you have the habit of drawing, it's just going to become a habit. Like, you're going to feel like you have to. So that's the first part, right? So if you haven't built it in a habit, then here's the second part, is you really want to try to build it into a habit. And you got to check your motivations on why you feel like you need to draw. If it's not a must, you're not going to, right? Like, you really have to make the things that you really want to do well in life a must. And if drawing is something that you must, I'm using this word very casually, the word must. But the definition of must is something that has to happen in order for you to basically like feel complete in life or whatever. Right? Like, it must happen. If you don't do it, something bad, or you're going to lose out on something great, right? So, in order to build the habit of drawing, like, do you have a reason that drawing is a must in your life? For me, that's a lot of things. Like, I'm building my entire social media, my art page, around art and drawing. So it's a must for me. It's part of literally like the work that I do for a living, right? So, if you don't have that must, it could be much harder. If you, just casually want to like draw, it's not a must. That's okay. You got to just accept that's okay. Maybe you have to make something up, like maybe you have to come up with your own must. Like studying for a test. You're going to draw to study for a test. Or if you're not necessarily sure you want to like create an entire social media brand just based on drawing and artwork, how do you create a must? You might be able to create your own form of motivation, right? So there's two types of motivations. There's two easy ways to motivate yourself, because we're all motivated by the same two basic intentions, for lack of a better word. And those are you're motivated to move towards something, or you're motivated to move away from something. You're motivated because you want to achieve something, or you're motivated because you're afraid of the consequences of something. Those are literally the only two ways to motivate people. If you're either motivated to run because it's good for you and your health, or you're motivated to run away from a lion that's chasing you, right? So in that sense, that's an extreme example, running to or from a lion or whatever. But the reason why I share that is, if you don't have that must, that example that I shared with you, my must, which doesn't necessarily have to be your must, and you want to build a habit of drawing when you don't want to, maybe you just have to figure out a way to reward and punish yourself. And I don't mean like punish like an ascetic monk who, smacks their back with some thorny bushes or whatever, thorny sticks, right? I don't mean that type of punishment, but just something like silly. Like, I was reading this book. I highly recommend it. It's called Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. And a lot of these ideas I actually stole from him. So these are not my ideas. These are ideas that I've literally taken from some of the most influential and successful motivational researchers and things like that. And, he writes in his book this idea of he was coaching this one woman who was she wanted to do something. I can't remember, but let's just make that something up. Like she wanted to stop biting her nails or something, right? And the way she motivated herself wasn't to give her a reward at the end, but her motivation was to say, hey, if I bite my nails this week, I'm gonna have to eat dog food. So that was her way of, like, dog food is so disgusting to her, the worst possible thing she can imagine, that if she was to bite her nails, she would have to eat that dog food. And that was like how she created this situation where she would move away from biting her nails. I hope that's helpful. But let's see. Sorry for not interacting in the moment. You're making some grilled cheese. That's cool, Nate. No worries. You're in the moment anyway. You're in the moment making grilled cheese. And that's all that matters. You got to make that grilled cheese. So thank you, Goat, for saying that I'm inspiring. So I hope that's helpful, Shaz. That's a lot there. But let's break it down even further for your specific situation. Let's actually make this make sense in your specific case. The case being, assuming that your goal is that you want to make a habit out of drawing, a habit out of feeling like you, a habit out of drawing when you feel like you don't feel like you want to draw. So, getting specific there. I think what'll come in handy is figuring out what you either one of two things, right? What is a reason? Come up with your own reason of why you have to draw, and then, or two, come up with a reason if you don't draw, what is the consequence? So you think we'll go hopefully listen to more Bengu songs, and maybe we'll see each other another time. Have a good day. Thank you, Megami. Yes, definitely have a great day, Megami. Good chatting with you. But yeah, so Shazbear, I hope that's helpful. So if you need clarification, feel free to jump in here and let me know. Do feel free to share your thoughts around some of the things that I was just talking about. I know that can be a lot to unravel. But anyway, jumping back here. So Nate, definitely knock out those grilled cheese sandwiches. We all need to eat. We all need to feast and enjoy the feasts of life. So here we go. And moving in here. And we got Chance Bradford. So we had to restart this room for some reason. I think it's a warning from TikTok. Don't talk about politics, which I have to learn how to avoid when people are trying to talk about it. Which is making me think like I should more and more. I need to get my subscription only, potentially members only chats to have people focus only on art topics, I guess, right? I don't know. But maybe the interaction and the open dialogue around anything is the important thing. I don't know. I guess this is a turning point as a content creator, as a live streamer that I have to consider. Right? Like, as an art streamer, do I want to only keep my conversations around art, and then every other topic that's safe, or do I want to keep it open for various other controversial things as well? I don't know. We'll see. This is definitely a challenge that a live streamer probably must think about once in a while. So long as it's civil, right? So here we go, a little bit of progress. Oops, there we go. A little bit of progress here, people. Got this hand and working and building it in little by little. The hand, I don't even know what this hand is on. Is it a pillow or whatever? What's up, ODST? How are you? ODST guy is back, everybody. Should all clap. Wouldn't it be nice if people just clapped every time you walked into a room? Looks like a soda? This This looks like a soda, you think? Like he's holding a giant soda can? Yeah, I guess it could be that, huh? Yeah, why not? Alright, so let me get in the rest of this hand. The rest of this hand is gonna be, so I got this brown. Let's just go with let's go with an ochre. I'm gonna go with a nice light ochre. Yeah, green and yellow. I love Sprite. That's one of my favorite sodas. In case anybody cares to buy me a soda. But yes, citrus sodas are my favorite. And here we go. So ODST, what did you come back from? What have you been up to in the past 20 minutes? So let's see. Looks like soda. You would buy me a soda. That's cool. I don't know if yeah, well, thank you. You know, now I'm thinking my Twitch stream doesn't have a tipping option, but my YouTube does. But it's all good. I appreciate the thought. Yeah, my YouTube was quite lively a few moments ago. And here we go. But you know what? Sometimes when it chills out, like this is way more, definitely a bit more relaxing. But at the same time, you know, you're thinking, or I'm thinking, wow, this is totally different. This is just like, it's just time to draw, just to enjoy the art of making art. But if anybody here does want to share their woes and joys of whatever's going on in their life, feel free to. There's a lot going on in the world. And you know what I find more and more is that on one hand, we're like so connected with all social media, and I find it so interesting how like it's easier to talk about stuff. It could be anything, right? Like to share a success, to share a failure. It's so much easier to just share it online with random people, sometimes anonymously, and to like get your thoughts out into the world than it is to share it with friends or family. For some people. Now, there are some people that I could talk to about pretty much anything, and, you know, I know they'll be there for me. But, you know, I know that there's a lot of people in this world who, unfortunately, don't have that, you know? And I realize that more and more, the older I get, that, you know, not everyone has those things, unfortunately. Not everyone has a good mentor or someone to just talk about their concerns with in person. So I find that a wonderful thing about all this live streaming stuff is people can find that. So anyway, I'm finishing up on some of these spaces on our hand here, and we're gonna go push these areas. And add these subtle details on the hands. I guess they're not so subtle. I'm coloring like an entire area. Try to use fancy words. But so ODST, do I like listening to music? Yes, I really enjoy listening to music. And you know, really, that's one of the things that bothers me about streaming is that I can't listen to music while streaming because of potential copyright strikes on YouTube. YouTube is so strict with that. And that's one thing about AI, you know? YouTube can detect all the copyright strikes that streamers have, but there's like no other, you can't have it. So like, how do I play music? How can I possibly listen to music while I'm streaming? I have to make my own. I have to come up with my own music. Yeah, YouTube's got an absolutely amazing AI for detecting stolen music. And I get it. But I think YouTube needs like a specific app or list of music that you can stream without getting copyright issues that, you know, has been released to the public or whatever. YouTube should definitely do that. Like, they have it for if you just make like one-off videos, like shorts or full videos, you can just put a song over it, but other than that, they don't. So I do love a good song. Yes, I do. I love me some good music. Alright, so this hand's coming along a little bit. I'm doing something a little different now, where, you know, I try to blend in a couple of different colors. Let's give this nail some color here. We're gonna give this nail like a purple. Let's give this a shiny purple here. Shiny purplish red, purple nail. So yes, I love music. Can't imagine a life without music. But at the same time, I don't feel like I need it as much as I used to. Like, you know, when I was a kid, I would always need to listen to music to go to the gym. Like, I couldn't go to the gym without music. I couldn't sit silently without music. But I definitely find, like, as I get older, I don't need music as much. It's like music really is like a luxury. And I don't mean luxury like inaccessible luxury, but luxury as in, you know, when I'm just looking to just enjoy something, just enjoy a moment, I can just listen to some music. But it's not like a necessity in my life. It used to be a necessity, I guess. Like, everything I did, I would need to have some music on, you know? In order to go to the gym, I would have to listen to music. In order to like drive somewhere, I would have to listen to music. In order to enjoy a moment or an occasion, there would have to be music. But I feel like I don't need that as much anymore. I'm not as I'm not as dependent on music anymore for my personal enjoyment. So that's the long answer. So that's the long answer there. Whew, okay. Now, if only I can remember which yellow ochre I used here. Here we go. And let's go. Here's another question I'll answer. Do I like movies? Yes, I love movies. You know what I've recently got into that I didn't really like, though? Or not that I didn't like them, but it was just so hard for me to get into? TV shows. Like, not just TV shows, but shows in general. It wasn't until just I got HBO Max recently that I would actually watch entire series of shows. And this was only in the past the green, yellow, red, orange, yellow, green. I want to go blue or red. Let's go blue. I'm trying to plan a color here. But it wasn't only until like just this past year or so that I really started getting into watching shows. Like, I think the only show I ever watched in full, as a full series, was Breaking Bad. That was it. Breaking Bad, I mean, as a kid I would watch shows like Mad TV, but I would never watch like a series that would like follow a story. And TV shows are such a commitment. Yeah, exactly. So I actually took that word from you, Shaz. I saw your post and I was like, commitment. Yeah, I was actually about to say, but yeah, so it feels like TV shows are such a commitment. Can't really watch through most of them. So exactly, like, you know, shows are a commitment for sure. They're not. But I got HBO Max, and then I realized there are already so many of these great shows that are on that I don't have to wait like weeks for. That's one thing I can't stand is TV shows with episode to episode plot or what are they called? Cliffhangers. Like, it just makes me mad to no end when a TV show like goes from episode to episode with a cheap like cliffhanger, like Bill just shot the gun in the direction of John and Joe. Which one will get hit? Find out on the next episode. And I think Dragon Ball Z did a lot of that. When I was a kid, every episode of a TV show like Dragon Ball Z would be like, Goku's charging up. Find out who lives, who dies on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. And I, like, growing up, after I grew up and saw TV shows like that, I'm like, that's terrible. I cannot stand that. As much as I love Dragon Ball Z, I can't stand that style of writing. Yeah, HBO Max seems really underrated. I'd agree. I love HBO Max after I bought it for the shows. But I only bought it for one show, and I'm stuck on it. So I saw the show. I worked on the show actually. So the Sympathizers with Robert Downey Jr., Park Chan-wook. I got to work on it as an actor. I played an extra playing a Viet Cong. So in the show, I'm not going to spoil it, but this is just the overall plot of one of the episodes is Robert Downey Jr. is directing a movie. And in the movie that he's directing, they need extras to play Viet Cong in the movie. So I play one of the extras portraying a Viet Cong. So within the show, I am an extra playing a Viet Cong within the movie in the show. And I bought it for that. I bought HBO Max just so I could watch it because I was in it. But yeah, so the question, Shaz. Yeah, so you can actually see me. I think I can't remember what episode it is. Either episode 4 or 5. You can see me in a couple scenes. One of them you have to know that it's me because I'm wearing a lot of like heavy face makeup. But in another scene, you can actually pretty clearly see that it's me. So yeah, it was a great show. Amazing to see the director work. Amazing to connect with the actors. Because what's really interesting about that show is they hired a lot of actors. A lot of up-and-coming actors who hadn't made it yet, really. A lot of actors from Canada. And those actors from Canada are just now starting to, after the show, starting to get a lot of opportunities, a lot more opportunities. But Vietnamese actors, so more importantly, this was a show heavily featuring Vietnamese actors, which are probably very underrepresented in American film and television. So even as as far as Asians go, we're all over. But as an individual Asian community, Vietnamese I think are very underrepresented. But anyway, have I ever seen The Batman? So The Batman would be the Robert Patterson one, right? Or Ed something? Is it Ed or Robert Patterson? Yeah, I saw that one. I really liked it. That guy who plays the crazy guy, is it Scarecrow, or I forget the villain's name. Is it Riddler? Yeah, I think it's the Riddler, right? He's the version of the Riddler. I really like him as an actor. Like, I think he's really great at playing the crazy yelling guy. And I'm sure he doesn't want to be known as a crazy yelling guy, but at least it's an interesting way to be known. So here we go. We've got some of the base coloring for this hand, the base colorings of this piece. And let's see, what can we do? Some things to update here to make the hand more, transition of the hand a little bit smoother here. It's a bit rough right now. So we're going to go ahead and tighten this up still. We're going to push down into the edges to create the curves of this hand. Soften some of these edges here. The choreography of the movie is art. What's up, CE Bond 2? Welcome. Good to see ya. Good to see familiar names. So CE Bond 2, you got anything? You got any? Sup Shay? How's it going? Abducted Artworks. Shay, do you wanna jump on the live here and share some of your artworks? I saw your page. You want to be invited as a live guest? And you don't have to you just show your artwork or whatever. Up to you. I'm only gonna, I don't know how long I'll be on. Maybe I'll probably be on for maybe a couple hours actually. We'll see. It depends. Sometimes, I just suddenly, this wall just hits and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do anymore. And then sometimes, I have plenty of wind. To wait until your kiddos are asleep in an hour. Hey, that's cool. No worries. It's all good. Yeah. I'll probably be on. I could probably stick around. But CE Bond 2, what brings you, so cinematography of the movie? Yeah, so, cinematography is such an amazing art form. I think everybody loves great cinematography, right? But it's one of those things. But yeah, whenever you have time, whenever your kiddos are asleep, feel free to, you can let me know and I can send you the invite, or you can just send me a request to join this live, and and I would be glad to see the artwork you share and the stories you have to tell, which I imagine Nate probably also knows about them, so it'll be great to see your thoughts together. And CE Bond 2, so the YouTube stream here got some conversation going, the woes and joys of life. And Shaz, you know what I think is a really good movie, really good movies for cinematography though, is a classic. I'm a big fan of Japanese movies as far as like their characters and their quirkiness and their bizarreness, like Battle Royale, Ichi the Killer, all different sorts of the happiness of the katakuris, like so many wild and crazy Japanese films. But cinematically, I think the people who do drama the best are Chinese filmmakers that do like that cinematic, like dramatic, just Chinese dramas have a way of filmmaking of just like they really let the moments play out for a really long time. And thanks Shay for all the wonderful gifts. I do have had an opportunity to visit lots of lives and be able to spread the love to others as well, and help and do that. So that's great. No, it's great when you can do that. So thanks so much. Yeah, and Shaz. So Shaz, as far as foreign films, I mean, you know, Chinese dramas are very like, I mean, they're usually either romantic or like a crime drama. But one movie that I saw that was really interesting cinematically lately and it's pretty boring, honestly. The movie is kind of boring, but it's a romantic drama. Ash is purest white, or Ash is purest snow, or Ash is purest white. And here's what's so interesting about it. It's kind of boring, but it's like 2.5-hour movie, but it takes place in like the 1990s or 80s. And when I first started watching this movie, I was like, oh, okay, so this is a 90s movie. That's how when they filmed it, and it looked so authentically 1980s, 1990s Hong Kong. But an hour and a half in, you start to see them carrying like iPhones, and the entire cinematography changes. And you're like, oh, this is not a 1990s film. So I looked it up, and it was like 2020 or 2018 when the movie was made, and that just totally blew my mind, because the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, oh, this is totally like a 90s film. And like, not just like the environment, but also the way they made the films. They had this one scene that was literally about 10 minutes long, and it's just the two actors sitting in the room after like a not a breakup, but it was a really like intense. It wasn't like intense like arguing, talking, but it was a really intense like a mental moment. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but like, you know, there's like physical moments of like yelling and arguing, and then there's like moments that you could just feel the tension because of the silence. And that was captured in this movie, and it was like 10 minutes of just these two actors sitting in a room thinking about their relationship together. And there's just one long 10-minute shot. And I thought that was like just an amazing moment to just like let these two actors, of course they're playing characters in the movie, but just to allow these two actors to like think about this experience that they had with Joe. I don't like, you gotta watch the movie. It's not for everybody. Again, it was pretty boring, to be honest. I probably wouldn't watch it again, but cinematically it is very interesting. But if you like romance dramas and things like that, you might like it. If anything, just for the cinematics, to see how they did it. So yeah, quite a lot there. Good movie. That movie was Ash is Purest White, or Snow is Purest White. Ash is Purest White, I think. Such a beautiful movie. So anyway, right, let's see what we can do with this finger. I have some more details that I need to tighten up here. And let's see how I can really improve some of the details here. What I think I need is Yeah, you definitely watch that soon? Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess if that's the type of thing you like, you know, just to see like a cinematic, and like the majority of the film, it's not like a cinematically filmed like action movie. Christopher Nolan. I know Christopher Nolan didn't direct the Batman, but there's just moments in it where you can really, I guess we were talking about cinematics. If I really think about it, you know, I think that the beauty of the cinematics really came from how it really just allowed the actors to experience their moment. And of course, their ability to capture like 1980s, 1990s, like Shanghai, Hong Kong. My goodness, Shay, thank you so much. You're really helping to support the day. Thank you. So I don't know. You said you got to put your kids to bed, and what movies can you share? Movies or TV shows can you share that you've really enjoyed recently, or even later, or however? Or TV shows, movies. One show I haven't watched that I've heard was incredibly good is Three Body Problem. I've been hearing so many good things about Three Body Problem, but I just have not been able to take the time to check it out. Ooh, I've got sounds coming from my TikTok. The number 2 gifter, welcome. All right, some comments in this live were filtered. All right. So you listen to podcasts. Very cool. What kind of podcasts? What are some of the ideas in a podcast that you listen to? Heart Puff. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Nate. Wow. It's great to have such wonderful supporters as yourselves. I'm just letting it all soak in. Let's see. Feel very fortunate, you two. Shows and movies. You watched the infamous H3 podcast. The H3 podcast. So, is it called the H3 podcast, or is it called the infamous H3 podcast? Is that like code word for something? So I need to use a color to darken some of the H3 podcast. All right. A silly podcast. I'll have to check that out. Yes. So right now, what I'm working on is I'm going to tighten up some of the shadows here. And and by tighten up, I mean just add and darken some of the shadows on the space here. That's what we're working on right now. Oh, your comment got filtered. The walking unalive. Wow. I can't believe they filtered that. There's something wrong with them when they filter that. But anyway, I mean, I guess it makes sense. The walking unalive. That's cool. So look, Art Deco on YouTube. Huh, I might have to check that out. Shay, were you here when I talked about that book? As far as art books go, one of my favorite art books that I've recently listened to, and it's on Audible, so you can listen to it like a podcast. But it's called "What Are You Looking At?" And of course, this could be biased art because it's made from the former director of the Tate Modern, which is British, and it's probably biased as far as favoring British artists. I mean, I personally didn't feel like the book was favoring British artists, but I felt like it encompassed a wide variety of artists. However, I don't know what the Art Deco podcast is, but as far as art books go, I really enjoyed that listen. And they basically cover like everything from the 1800s. The title is "What Are You Looking At?" I can't remember the name of the author. Alexa, who is the author of "What Are You Looking At" book?
I'm not sure.
I want to say his name is something Gompertz? Will Gompertz? But that might be a different book. But just "What Are You Looking At?" and then the one about art. And that's a really interesting book. It's like a super, super crash course on art from Impressionism and on. So everything that basically led to modern contemporary living artist artwork. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. And if you're listening to Art Deco, I'm sure you're probably already familiar with some of the ideas that are on it. I don't know what Art Deco is, but I'm guessing, since you said it's an art history book, I can only imagine that you've heard some of the stuff that will be said. Another country that is really well shot is No Country for Old Men. Very gruesome. Yeah, I've only, it's funny, I think I've seen so many clips of No Country for Old Men that I kind of have an idea of the story, but I've never watched it in whole. I don't know how that works. I guess just with social media, people constantly put like scenes from No Country for Old Men into like different clips, and then, that's that. But anyway, here is the hand that we're continuing to work on using our oil pastel. Oh yeah, by the way, people on TikTok have not seen this painting. So here's a fun story for a painting I did. So this piece, there's a statue of David in a replica in one of the museums, in one of the, actually it's a memorial garden, big cemetery basically. So there's a big cemetery here, and they have this replica of the statue of David. And so this is oil. And actually, I went to go paint this there. I went to go paint it there, but I didn't have my canvas in my car. I brought everything except my canvas. And it's like 25, 30 minutes away from my apartment. And I was like, I either need to go home, get all that stuff, and then come back and waste an hour or more, or not, or by the time I get home, I'm not going to want to do it, or I should just suck it up. And I had a cardboard Amazon box in my car. So, I think that's a great use for Amazon cardboard boxes. People complain about all the waste it is. But I ended up turning it into a painting. Which, I can't paint every box that Amazon's ever turned to waste, but I'm sure there's an artistic use for the boxes. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Yes, exactly. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Wise words. So, yeah, my YouTube stream is seeing that, but y'all are getting a direct front view of everything. The blue and green look nice together. Thank you. Yeah. It was, so the green, the statue is actually like a green. I don't know the material, if it's like a copper or bronze or whatever. But, yeah. I was just painting what I saw, the green statue amidst a blue sky. It was a lot of fun. But what's interesting is you kind of see like where I changed things. Like you could see that I don't know if that's what I actually did, but I think I originally had the arm over here. You can see this like purple line here. And then you can see some of the shape adjustments around the hip. And where else can you see some of the things that I changed? Some things are more obvious than others, but I played with a lot of color variation here. Blues, greens, purples in the sky. And yeah, I was glad with how it came out. And this was one of the groundskeepers that was there. There's a groundskeeper that walked by. I just decided I like to like put random people's heads into my drawings. Like this one right here. When I'm like working. Someone happens to pass by, I'll like do my best to capture them. If you look at this painting right here, there's a random person. So this is actually a live painting I did of an ocean. And there's a person right here that was, so I was doing it with the California Art Club. I was invited, and this person right here was also there, and I painted her in. How do I draw a circle? Let's see. There we go. So I painted her in there. Yes, Will Gompertz. Yes, I think that's Will Gompertz. So it's a great listen. Since you're in a podcast, I would totally listen to that. Yeah, I would totally check that out if you like podcasts. So, whew. All right, let's throw some life into this hand. So this hand currently is yellow, but what I need to do is I need to throw in some some reds. Let me throw in a bit of red to really, some nice dark red to fill in some of the space around. Yes, I do that quite a lot, just put like random people into my artwork. Depending on the situation, of course. So right now, what I'm working on is throwing in some shadows with my oils here. Really establishing better shadow zones of shadow into my my piece here. And here we go. So I'm using like a red. A little bit of a red just to vary up some of the color effects here. Just to add some color variation onto this hand. Yeah, a little bit of, I like to throw in, a little bit of life into almost all of my pieces. But I noticed that you paint people exclusively, very fantasy. You do fantasy, Shay? Fantasy artwork. That's awesome. I feel like your work would be super popular on like Tumblr or DeviantArt. I don't know all the other art places, but I feel like you're probably famous on like DeviantArt or Tumblr or something. I've never been on those platforms, but I know that there's a very specific audience on those platforms, and I can just imagine that somehow you're you're very well known on those places. Oh, you have a monetized Facebook account. That's awesome. You have a hard time monetizing Facebook for whatever reason. One thing that this book is helping me to do, doing studies from this book. Hey Shazbear, take care. Thanks so much for jumping back in again. I hope some of our conversations were helpful to you. Thanks for sharing some of your woes and joys, and look forward to hearing from you next time. Let me know. Come up with a story. Come up with a story next time that you can share with the world, that will be broadcasted for all to hear. Does that sound intimidating? I don't know. So here we go. Oh yeah. So I was actually in the middle of saying something before I went off the cuff here. So I was saying that one thing that this book, studies from this book, has really helped me to do is get more comfortable with really dark shadows. And what I mean by that is is allowing really dramatic shadows to allow themselves to be on a painting. So here we go. We're going with the darker shadows here. And, I have to allow myself to let these fingers disappear a bit in order to allow this, the dark shadow work. Yeah, exactly. Deeper values, whatever. It's one of those things that you have to get comfortable with allowing things to disappear. And I think it really helps to create a level of depth. Yeah, lively, add drama, and I lost this pastel stick somewhere. Here we go.
By the time you're leaving the office, you can't tell anything because there's no evidence of a
Oh yeah, by the way,
a few people sometimes will get a little bit pink.
Here's one of the. Here's one of my small paintings. So I said I like to add people and throw them in. Here's one of my smaller paintings. No bigger than my head. And so this is actually a famous. Did I share this with y'all, Shay? I don't know. But there's this famous stone that's actually a piece in a museum. It's a massive, massive, massive boulder. It's I want to say the size of a small, bigger than a cabin that someone might have in their backyard, a little tool shed. It's bigger than that, and massive stone. And there was some girl that was running around this stone. She did 20. She does 20 laps a couple times a week or something. And I decided to throw her in there. I really like throwing characters into my my artwork. So here we have that. And yeah, deeper values. So that's one thing that's been really helpful with this, with these studies that I've been doing. Yeah, so that's one of the challenging things that I've been working on, is really getting comfortable with this dramatic transformation of value. I mean, it's very old school. Very old school. You know, the what are they, Caravaggio or something? I can't remember the exact name, but from the days of the Caravaggio. There's a name for it. See something that, you know, allows this dramatic lighting to take place. So you bought some Faber-Castell oil pastels, but I don't entirely know.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know, the thing is oil pastels, there's so many ways to work with oil pastels. I find it a very versatile art piece, and like there's so many different qualities. And when I say quality, I don't mean like good versus bad. I mean like, you know, my Cray-Pas pastels, like my Cray-Pas pastels have a totally different texture than my Paul Rubens pastels. And my Paul Rubens pastel has a totally different texture than my Sennelier pastels. And they all have their different purposes. Like, you know, I can't lay... Like, I can't layer... Like, I can easily layer this, my Sennelier, on top of, you know, on top of my Cray-Pas. I can layer on top of Cray-Pas, but I can't layer... But I can't layer my Cray-Pas. I can't layer this on top of this without kind of messing it up, you know. It kind of just like carves and like pushes it away. So it's funny, you know, they all have their different purpose. So that's you know, the main difference that I found with the wide variety of oil pastels. I mean, Sennelier is considered the most, you know, the industry standard, but you know what? Like I wouldn't use Sennelier for every single thing. There's a specific way to use Sennelier in mixture with everything. Or genres. So Izzy's got a question. What are all the art styles I've done or genres? Yeah, so like, you know, I don't like to go by quality. Izzy, I'll get back to your question in a moment, but for now, let me talk to Shay real quick. This is on TikTok as well. So TikTok, we're talking about oil pastels. And yeah, I mean, these are usually pretty expensive, but you know what? I still like to use I call them fine quality versus, you know, this is considered, they call themselves extra fine actually. So they call them extra fine quality versus Sennelier identifies as artist quality. So we're going to use that, like super fine, extra fine versus artist brand. And you know what? I really love to create the base layer with a fine quality oil pastel. So these I actually got at Michael's. You get these at Michael's. I think Faber-Castell, they were literally right next to Faber-Castell oil pastels at Michael's. But I decided to go with Cray-Pas for no specific reason. I just saw this and I felt like the colors were different enough for me. And I really like Expressionism, so they kind of sold me on that, I guess. But I got these online. I don't think you get these at the Michaels store, the Sennelier. This is the iridescence version. So iridescence is, if you look at all these colors, they're all very metallic. So all these colors are metallic colors, and they really, really, really stand out. Like, let me throw a little bit on a nail here. I don't know how they do it, but as you can tell, like, you know, you throw this on a nail. Let me throw this on this nail right here. You can see it right now, but you know, if I throw it on some of the nails, it really makes them start to pop. Like, there's this blue. So let's just show with this blue right here. You know, the blue really pops. And if I throw some gold like on top, so they have all different types of gold and everything. So throw some of the gold on here. So you can really start to see some of the texture and the shine, the sheen. I don't know how they do it, but this is one specific brand from Sennelier. But yeah, that's my experience with oil pastels. But like, here's the funny thing about oil pastels. There's like so many ways that people work with them. And I'm sure you'll discover that yourself. But like, you know, some people use brushes with like different mediums. Some people, you know, just go stroke by stroke, just a small stroke by small stroke to build layer and layer and layer. And then me, I don't quite use all those ways. I just kind of, I like it for the fact that I can just pick it up with my hand and, you know, get into the motions. So Izzy, what are the different art styles I've done? Like, yeah, I hope I guess you didn't ask a question, Shay, but I have fun talking about oil pastels, so I hope it was at least fun to discuss for you. Yeah, but I see so many different videos about oil pastels that I've like just kind of like picked up these different ways of working with them. But they're totally fun. They are totally fun to just like dive in and work with, and you can start to see like that you just start to layer, you start to build, and it starts to create a lot of interesting design here. So Izzy, what are the different art styles I do? That's a great question. I don't do hyperrealism, that's for sure. I definitely do not do hyperrealism. I can do some realism, but I usually stray away from hyperrealism. Let's see, art styles. Whew. Oh, like, I don't know, what would you call this art style? I would call this like an abstract, you know. I did something abstract, and then I did something on top of it with a bunch of flowers. I really wanted to just do this with just the painting underneath. I spent a lot of time just thinking, should I? Oh yeah, what paper works best with them? So here's the thing. Before I dive further into this piece, the question is, what paper works best for them? So they do have like art pads for for oil pastels. Let me show you one. But it looks like you work pretty big, Shay. And if you work big, these get really expensive. Because so I have this oil pastel pad from, and they have like a wax paper, but these are really small. I wouldn't, you know, the way you work, I wouldn't go with this, but they have like a version of it. These are my first like oil pastel sketches here. They're fun, just, you know, really experimenting. But what's great is it comes with this wax paper on top of it, and the wax paper helps to preserve. I actually like this one. This is one of my first pieces too, and this was me just like playing with experimenting with color and flowers and all that. But yeah, so this is a great paper, but what happens is this paper has not only the wax cover, but it has tooth, they call it. so it's not like super smooth. But that could be both a good thing and bad thing. So, you know, when you're using oil pastel, I find that if there's too much tooth, as they call it, if it's too rough, then I can lose a lot of, there's a lot of white space that gets left on top of it. But, so if I use like a fine paper, it's not toothy, yeah, it's different. But anyway, this is like, I would call this like abstract. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's a specific name for it. But yeah, thanks, Izzy. Appreciate it. All right. So this was one painting that I did. It was a really tough choice to decide between leaving the background. So you can see the background. I painted that first. And just leaving the background as it is, or actually going in and painting on top of it. I really like the background as it was, but I decided to go on top of it. So there's that. This is one way I paint. And then another way I like to paint is just letting loose. Letting loose. This is one of my favorite pieces. I don't know what you'd call this, right? Like expressionism, neo-expressionism, abstract expressionism. There's a lot of names for it.
Emmett, can I ask
Yo,
you something?
what's up, babe?
Do you know what happened to that little jar of the garlic?
I might have used it all.
Oh. Okay.
And then I have a piece like this. It's not necessarily abstract, but it's not like pure realism either. I would call this more of like an old style, not classic, but there's like a really industrial art form that came around like from Russia or Germany at one point. And I think that this kind of captures maybe some of that. I don't know. I don't really have a art style, but you're really thinking it's what I said. Yeah, well, that painting is definitely abstract for sure. Like, I think abstract, it's like abstract versus realism or representative or whatever. Abstract basically covers everything that, you know, it's not like, hey, this is a potato. This is a hand. You know, anything that's different. So, but you know, this definitely represents a scene. But the way I painted it, the colors and everything, I guess the colors are a bit more abstract. By the way, I do want to say that the credit for this painting, I don't take full credit for this painting. So there's a Vincent van Gogh drawing that he did, and I basically used that design and did my own painting of it. So this is based on a painting or a drawing by Vincent van Gogh. So I can't take credit for the design of this. The majority of this painting, the design is based on his drawing, but the painting itself wasn't done by him, of course, since I have a copy of it, or since I have a copy of this, but I did pick my own colors, you know, made a lot of choices, had to make a lot of decisions on things to change or adapt because, you know, his was a drawing and this is a painting, so I had to make a lot of decisions, I think. Yeah, that's one great way to explain it, Izzy, for sure. It's one great way to explain some of these pieces. And you know, some stuff actually has a name that I do, right? Like this. This is totally a post-impressionist style for the most part. You know, you can see it by the brush marks, some of the color choices, the lines. Like, it's not realism, it's not impressionism, but you know, there's influences from late impressionism, post-impressionism, Vincent van Gogh, of course. So yeah, I mean, Vincent van Gogh pretty much defines the era between Impressionism and Post-Impressionism and all that. So backstory on a painting, and you love how you took inspiration from famous artists. Yeah, I mean, I get lots of inspiration from Vincent van Gogh. Lots of inspiration. He is one of my favorite artists. He's definitely one of my favorite artists. %. Yeah, thanks for jumping into this conversation. So what brings you out here, Izzy? What brings you out to this channel? Did you hear about it from a friend? Were the other streams just not quite getting your attention? Did you just want to find someone to talk about art with? So you originally asked the question, you know, you have a question, what are the art styles that I've done? So what made you ask that question out of curiosity? What made you curious? And curiosity in itself is absolutely fine, but I'm just wondering, like, are you looking for ideas? Are you doing research? You know, what brought you around here in this exciting moment? And now I need to tighten up some of our shadows. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go, let's see, purple. I got the reds and the purples. I need to go with like a dark blue is a good in-between for purple, or for green and yellow. I'm just going to go with a dark blue here. And let's go straight into some of the darkest areas of shadow and just start to fill in these white spaces. And let's see, what else can I do with these hands? I need to get some of these dark spaces around the hand a little better. But maybe. Oh yeah, I see. I see what can be done. Let's take this and bring it in to this hand space here. You know what? I want to spice this up a little bit. We're going to add some rose gold into this hand here. Got some rose gold color. Just allow these colors to build on top of each other here. And I will share a result in a moment. Let me use a silver to go around, and I really want to just add some design around these things here. And I think we're done. I like to look at it on camera because when I see it on camera, I can kind of get a better visual and kind of it gives me an opportunity to step back and see what it looks like from a distance. And you know, think of it without being so close to it. So added some fun to it, and there we go. So you're starting to get into art, and you saw my channel. That was cool. You draw in a sketchbook, and you draw in different styles. And you want to know what styles I do in art. Okay, well, hey, yeah. So here's the question: what artists do you actually enjoy? You know, what artists would you like to draw as? So I would say the art that really inspires me is Kim Jong-gi.
Yeah, that thing hurts.
What, Cat?
Hmm?
Never mind, I thought you were talking to me. So Kim Jong-gi is one of my favorite pen or ink artists. Have a lot of his books. May he rest in peace. But Todd McFarlane, King. Are you this funny in real life? I hope you are. Because I think it would be very disappointing to meet someone who's so funny online, but, you know, when you kind of like sit with them, you're like, oh, they're not that funny. So, it's Izzy 13. Mostly Leonardo da Vinci and Picasso. Whew. Those are quite the figures that you chose to model your work after. Two of the greatest of all time. Right on. Todd McFarlane. He's a good one. Yeah, I mean, Todd McFarlane is a fantastic artist. I think he was at one of the writer strikes when they were striking for the writers last year. I think I saw him at one of the events just marching around in protest with everybody. So we've got this hand, and I think we're gonna call it a day on it. Actually, you know what? I see something that needs to be done. Something that must be updated before I can call it complete. You know what? I want one lighter color just to kind of throw in a little bit of highlight. I want to layer a lighter color on top of some of these sections. Classics really looks amazing. Thank you so much, Izzy. Really appreciate you. So what brings you here today, King, Master, Lord? And we got Ah. Just A, but actually Ah. Yeah. You know, you're gonna have to remind me what you're about, Ah. I remember King Master Lord. King Master Lord not only has a very unique name, but he is quite the virtual comedian. Hey Izzy, you take care. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining in to chat about art. Yeah, till next time, until we meet again, like that song from Fast and Furious. Actually, I think I need another color for this area. Let's go with some blue highlights here. I'm gonna go. I don't want to just go with this yellow, this greenish yellow here. I want to throw in some light blue into our space. And here we are. So what's going on with you? You have any? I'm doing great. I've had some free time lately, so I've been doing a lot more streaming. As you could probably see, but knocking out a lot more streaming. That's what I do. And yeah, we talked about quite a lot. We talked about movies, TV shows. We've shared some of the artworks, discussed different art styles. So, what has been on your mind lately? What is the most interesting thought that you've had in the past 24 hours? Or King Master Lord, you could share that too. I'm sure you've had some interesting things. Interesting things to share with the world? No? Yes? No? Maybe? Chilling doing your 100 sword swings like from Berserk? Yeah, okay. Tatum, you're Berserk. Oh yeah, I have a... You're the second person that's here that likes Berserk. I had another viewer who hasn't been here for a while, but they were telling me about Berserk and how great of a manga that is. And their artwork really is pretty amazing. You climbed a tower? Like actually physically climbed the outside of a tower? Or, is this for work? Do you work as one of those people that climbs towers to rescue cats and stuff? Or what do you mean by that? Yeah, that's cool. So here we go. Do some finishing touches just to add some characteristics around this thing, and let's call this done. The one thing though is if you look at this, the sizes don't actually match. My hand's a little bigger. So one thing about my drawing is my proportions are usually quite different. Urban exploration. Do you have is that your YouTube channel, or is your YouTube channel about urban exploration? Do you have a growing adrenaline rush of a channel? And Goat. Earlier I had somebody on Twitch named Goat Soup. You haven't said anything in a while. I know, I can't give specific attention to each individual channel, so, if you see me just talking, feel free to just, say something so I know. I give specific people and ideas attention, but I can't, if I can't see your name and you're on Twitch or something, then I can't know you're there, because unfortunately it doesn't show me on these streaming things. Let's see, it's just a hobby of yours. Real fun. I like urban exploration, but I've seen urban exploration. There's this guy I follow on Instagram. He's called the French Spider-Man, named Alain Roberts. Alain Roberts. I think he's a French guy. But he's been arrested so many times because he illegally climbs like some of the tallest towers in the world without any ropes or anything. That man has got balls of titanium. I don't know what they're made of. Titanium, whatever, meteorite, titanium meteorite. Yeah, he's I see some of his videos, and unfortunately, like, his videos kind of end with him just kind of stuck somewhere, but I think it's amazing. Got neighbors smoking, so I'm starting to smell, and it's affecting my my throats. But anyway, let's see. You always wanted to do urban exploration, do rural exploration. Don't jump the wrong fence, or I'll be ducking bird shot. Yeah. You definitely got to be careful where you go to explore, especially if it's in rural places. You suppose it's a risk if you're in places where people have firearms. Yeah, exactly. I would say that's like 90% of American land. You know, the Midwest, the South, everything from central to the coast, to almost the coasts. But just along the most populated cities, they're pretty much in check. But here we go. Let's move on to let's move on to another hand, shall we, people? So you recommend urban exploration, a lot of ceiling systems everywhere. What's a ceiling system? I mean, I like to assume that it's just the ceiling, a system of ceilings, like a lot of ceilings in a building, but every building has ceilings, so I don't know if that's like a special word for something, or a special term that they use in urban exploration. Like, all I can picture of is a system of ceilings. Yeah. Now, I actually had a really long nap today, so I'm not tired, but here's a funny thing. Here's why I can never be a singer. Because when I talk, like, nonstop, I guess I shouldn't even be, like, doing live streaming because it requires me to talk a lot. But usually if I talk a lot, I tend to yawn for whatever reason. And if I was to, like, if I sing karaoke, I can usually do, like, one song before I start yawning. So if I ever became like a musician and had to go on stage and sing for like extended time, I'd probably yawn at some point a lot. A lot of connected buildings, and you can jump or climb from ceiling system, so like a roof system. I get it. Roof system, ceiling system, same thing.
Alexa, set timer for 45 minutes.
So what country or city do you do urban exploration in, A? Because I feel like in Los Angeles, we don't really have that. I mean, let me rephrase. There's not many, like... I don't know. I guess I haven't done it to really be able to speak on it. I'm making shit up right now. Excuse my language. I'm making stuff up right now. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know about LA urban exploration. Like, I'm picturing Assassin's Creed and old France or old London, where you can just like run across rooftops across the city because that's how they were built. And I can't picture that in Los Angeles, but I imagine that somewhere in Los Angeles there is something like that. Well, the reason why I asked if you're in Europe isn't because of your English. That's not why. It's because of how I imagine like buildings designed. In Europe, buildings are designed differently, and created differently in Europe. In China, like I can imagine someone running on rooftops in China, because I've been to like some apartment complexes, and you have like old apartments, and then you have like a window that kind of like looks over all the roofs of the apartments. So all you need to do is jump out the window and run across all the roofs. I can imagine that in China. I've only been to London and played Assassin's Creed in different countries, like Assassin's Creed that takes place in different countries. But I can't imagine that in Los Angeles. So that's why I'm asking if you're from another country, not because of your English. Your English, I would have never guessed like that you're not. It's your second language, as far as how you write. No clue about LA. It's kind of like that. You live in Europe, so that's pretty accurate. Cool, awesome. Well, there we go. Now, hey, if you want to do urban exploration GTA style, everyone that I've met that's played GTA 5 that comes to LA or visits LA is like, whoa, this is like exactly like GTA 5. So the last colors that I did were green, yellow, primarily green and yellow. So let's go with green, red, orange, yellow, green. Let's stick to the purple and red end of the spectrum. There's a bit more of a height difference, but you can usually climb broken walls or tubes. So how safe is it? I'm guessing it's not safe, but how safe is it, in your words, like, is it to climb a broken wall or tube? Because I would never climb a broken wall or a tube. If I see something that looks broken, I would totally not climb it. But it sounds like for an urban explorer that is a regular thing. Like, okay, cool, thanks. But also, by the way, in America, like even in like neighborhoods, I guess I can imagine people like I can just imagine someone in like a neighborhood in Los Angeles running over people's like house rooftops, because they're actually pretty close together. I'm making my hands like this. Houses are never that narrow, but they're pretty narrow, enough to fit just one person. I kind of imagine people running across roofs like that in a random neighborhood, but I never hear about it. I've never seen it on the news, like random guy runs across rooftops in Los Angeles, in Inglewood, or in Compton, or in East Los Angeles. You just don't hear about people doing that. Don't fall, that's the trick, yeah. It's a good trick there. It only works until you fall, and then you never talk about it again. But I really wish more people like just talked about the stuff that they like to do in person, or maybe there's just not a lot of people that have stuff to talk about. Because like I feel like on YouTube, people that come in, I can just ask them, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I do urban exploration," or "Oh, I'm an artist as well," or "Oh, I do live streams and have an OnlyFans account," right? Like stuff like that. But no one ever just like presents that in real life. I've never really just talked to somebody, asked what they do, and they're just like, "Oh, well, I guess I have talked to people that do it, but it's rare that someone will just be like, "Yeah, well, I'm an urban explorer. I am a hobby mechanic that builds cars from scratch. I am a winemaker." Like I feel like people rarely, just out and speak up about their things that totally interest them. I'm a professional skydiver. You really have to like dig in to get those conversations out of people in real life, but on the internet, it's totally different. For whatever reason, people are just very easily open about what they do and their interests. I guess it's much more straight to the point. I don't know. So we're going to go with a light purple here. Actually, rather than light purple, I think a light pink is a good... Going light pink here. Or is this a light pink? I feel like this is... No, this is just a regular pink. It's not a light pink. Good point. Yeah, I guess the cops are constantly on the lookout for people that do urban exploration. Yeah, I guess, you know, you got a good point there that, you know, the other thing is when you say things in person, it's harder to know what they're like. Yeah. Online, there's a sense of anonymity, of being anonymous, and plus you can kind of know me. If you look at my channel and you see artwork, you're gonna assume that, you know, I'm not the type of person that's gonna be like, hey, A does urban exploration, whatever. But anyway, goat soup. This is the final result of the piece we were working on. I went ahead and used a variety of colors to really dig into the hand and everything. Welcome back. You were doing pixel art. I also have a friend that does pixel art. It's great to see artists progress as they change and transform and update their artwork. Oh, you like that? Hey, I thought you saw it earlier. Yeah, this is our hand. I don't know which way. I guess this is the way I did it, but I think it looks better this way, honestly. Yeah. You could say it's abstract. I mean, I thought it's actually fairly realistic with some abstract colors, but right, there we go. I put a lot of abstract stuff around it, though. I like to add in different designs and stuff. And we're working on our next one now. Dinner. I'm gonna enjoy dinner. My lady is going to make some dinner for us tonight. So we're gonna take a break here in a bit, but right now I want to get at least started with this piece here. So starting off with the hand, and we're gonna start around the wrist as the wrist curves around. And 1, 2, 3. You dig it. Awesome, King. Thank you. What does it have a deep meaning? Yeah, sure. Why not? The meaning of this hand is to add your spin on historical things. That's a deep meaning. Because this painting, this drawing is based on ideas from this book. You know, this is just me adding my own spin to this design, this study. You know, I think the deep meaning is whenever you do something, make sure to add your own spin to it. Just got on top of a Burger King. Good view, a lot of solar panels and tubes. You know, speaking of urban exploration, thanks, Goat. Appreciate that. So I do want to see your pixel art after. Feel free to like leave a message with your actual like Instagram or whatever where you share your artwork. I will totally be open to checking that out. So King Master Lord on YouTube says, spin it sideways, it's a tree and a hand reaching for growth. There we go, King. King, will you be my curator for this piece right here? You're a natural curator, my friend. A gallery curator. So King, I don't think you were here for my sketches from the other day, but I would love to hear your thoughts on some of these portraits here. You know what? You know what's funny is this portrait that I did yesterday is probably one of my favorite portraits. This is a portrait of me, and I've made it my default photo, my main photo for quite a few pieces. I'm gonna make a shirt out of this too. I really do like this piece. Funny enough. And interestingly enough, this only took about, this is one of my favorite portraits of myself. It only took me about like 45 seconds, maybe a minute. But here's the thing that I think about art that's made quickly. I think when people think 45 seconds, it's important to also consider how much what I actually like had to study or think about to reach that face. I've been thinking about for a long time, about 9 months is a long time. I don't know if anybody considers 9 months a long time, but 9 months ago I went to started to discover Jean-Michel Basquiat, amazing artist. I started to see his work, and he's dead now, but I often wondered, I spent a lot of time thinking about what he would draw himself like if he was an Asian American. So that's a thought that's been like on my mind for months. And I was like, what would I draw myself in a style? How would I draw myself if I was an artist like Jean-Michel Basquiat? And that's finally what I came up with, and I'm actually happy with that result. Took a lot of thinking to finally come up with that. So it looks funny, yeah. I mean, it can look funny, it can look beautiful, it can look horrendous. However you interpret it is perfect, right? So the $1 million napkin drawing. So you never know. I might actually, like, I would definitely turn this into a brand. No joke. It is something that is on my mind. I would totally turn this into the logo for a brand. I like it that much. I've done lots of portraits, but this is my favorite, one of my favorites. Maybe also because I'm a big fan of Jean-Michel Basquiat, and I feel like, you know, his talent is his talent. I feel like I was able to capture that in a similar spirit of, you know, a 1980s street artist. This angle is a little bit too steep. That's okay. Instead of the Mona Lisa, you call it the Lucky Lisa. Yeah. Mona Lucky. Lucky Mona. The Lucky Mona Lisa. In that line, so we're gonna go Alright, here we go. We're working on a hand now. So, dog sketch where he's thinking about his humans, though. Oh! That's awesome. Yeah. Dude. Master Lord has a gift. That's hilarious. Yeah. This is a dog thinking about his humans. That's hilarious. See, I like that you weren't here when I did these, because this is just me, like, picking random people's, like, profile photos and, like, just sketching them. But... you know, to add that background story of a dog thinking about the humans, that's actually kind of funny. That is a funny story. That's exactly... that's pretty good. Alright. Yeah, so King Master Lord, I know you can't see what Goat Soup Official says on my Twitch channel, but Goat Soup Official says they like the way you think. You're very funny. Just FYI. So I'm gonna create this introduction. I don't know how you're gonna connect with each other, if you even choose to, or even if you should. Maybe you're just better off knowing of the idea of the other person, but not actually connecting. But King Master Lord on YouTube, Goat_Soup Official on Twitch. And here we go. So Goat Soup Official. You both have very funny names, right? So at some level, it is probably destiny for you two to connect in some way, and I have somehow allowed you two to connect for this friendship. One thing I found I'm very good at, I know you two might not, I'm very good at matchmaking, surprisingly. By the way, I'm not saying you two are being made as a match, I'm just saying that I am good at matchmaking people. Hello, Ski. Monst QQ Gamma. Monst QQ Gamma, welcome. Goat Superficial on Twitch. Yep, that's it. I don't know if you don't have to reinstall Twitch. Whatever, you could be here, whatever. But if you do want to meet each other or connect with each other in some way, you probably, that's one way to do it. I was even thinking about getting off Twitch and just streaming totally YouTube with this phone on my YouTube, but yeah, I felt like to stick around with Twitch for a little while, because I do, every once in a while, I do have some very fun people come in from Twitch. But I don't think Twitch is going to be my main streaming platform yet. Twitch hasn't done anything for me that's, hey, what's up, Monst QQQ? I have had a few friends, at least 3 people that I've match made just naturally. I mean, I guess that doesn't constitute me as an official career matchmaker, but I've had at least 3 good friends that got married. And only one of them is divorced so far. I think that's pretty good. 1 out of 3. That's a pretty good number for my age. I definitely pride myself in my ability to help connect people with people that they like. That's really hard. It's not easy to just, be a source of connection sometimes. You gotta not just know people, but you have to know their interests. You gotta know their personalities. There's so much about people to know when it comes to matchmaking couples. Now, don't get me wrong. I have had times when people didn't connect, and I've set them up on blind dates and stuff. But for the most part, I think I help more than I hurt. So let's see, 66% happy marriage chance. You like those odds? Yeah, 66% is pretty good. I mean, it's since I've done those matches, it's only been about 10 to 15 years, but it's not necessarily, it's not like 40, but close enough. Like the fun way I am. Thanks, Gogh. Really appreciate you. Lucky Cupid, that's a cool name for a piece. Lucky Cupid, yeah. That would be a good... You just came up with an idea, matchmaking. Like, setting up a TikTok just for, like, speed dating matchmaking. What? Why is TikTok? Here's a billion-dollar idea for you. Is creating, like, a speed dating thing. There's the billion-dollar idea for TikTok, creating some sort of form of speed dating TikTok, where people can, like, two people come together on a live stream, and then they have 2 minutes to make a conversation, and after the conversation, they can either swipe away and never be in contact with each other again, or they can swipe together and then become friends, and then something happens. And that could be so easy to implement. TikTok, I'm talking to you. I don't know if TikTok is actually watching this, but there we go. And there we go. That idea, I do share some credit with A here on my YouTube. So you try streaming on Twitch. Radicate. I don't even know what that is. Radicati. Oh, Pokemon. Radicate. Oh yeah. Okay. Radicate. Pokemon, because Theory saw Medicate. Lucky Cupid. They do. Sitting level. Eradicate. Yesterday, you told feeling like your drawing skills have stagnated, but today you're getting a bit better. You don't know what happened. QQ Gamma, honestly, it's sometimes you just get out of a funk by getting out of a funk. You just need to talk to somebody. You just need to hear from somebody that is helpful and allows you to have that conversation. Just need to talk about it, that's all. So this will be up. And Cyan, yeah, Mons QQ. Yeah, I don't know. I know you told me you were Cyan earlier, but I was just like, I don't know what to call you because Sarayan. Yeah, I know you do the manga drawings, right? You showed me on Instagram. You messaged me and showed me your manga drawings. I think that was you. If that's not you, correct me, but. Yeah. So I think that was you. Oh, that wasn't you? Okay, I thought you were the one that did the manga drawings that you showed me. You wanted me to like critique your manga drawings, and I told you I wanted to do a critique. A scaled critique. Someone had messaged me on Instagram. They're like, "Can you give me a critique on a scale of 1 to 10 of my manga?" And I said I wouldn't do it because I don't think a scale of 1 to 10 coming from me would even matter because I don't look at manga, so I have nothing to really compare it to. But obviously that wasn't you. No, it's okay, it wasn't you. No worries. If it wasn't you, it wasn't you. Yeah, I can definitely have a difficult time keeping track of every person in here's life and story just based on the words of their names alone. I mean, King Master Lord has established himself or herself or themselves as an interesting enough character. And I say character because, as far as I know, he might just be an AI. I've never met him in person. As a character in this live that I can remember what he's about. But I don't know. I think everybody should learn how to do that. That's a skill. That is a very good skill to have. Oh, alright. Sketch out a comic eradicate, train to level 100, set to the new. That's funny. Alright. Keep them coming, King Master Lord. Keep them coming. So right now I'm working on sketching out this hand. I will share some updates here in a moment, but right now, just getting this focus here. Because I'm working on these details that, these hands are very interestingly shaped, if I don't say so myself, and I do say so myself. What does that even mean, if I don't say so myself? I've heard that phrase used so many times. I think it's on like TV and stuff. I don't even know what it means. I mean, I get the idea that it's like I am saying, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I should talk while doing artwork, because doing artwork while talking can sometimes lead to some very unproductive thoughts. Let me get this finger real quick before I continue on these conversations here. So this is going to go down just past our hand right there. Nope, it's got to be a little bit wider. And here we go. So go up to just around there. Come across. And here we go. So this is going to go to the thumb here. Let's go like this. That. Check in with everybody here in a few moments, but I need to get this hand. I must get this hand here. So this hand's gonna come right up about there. Thumb. This is a very nice thumb. Very nice thumb. And that's coming down to the tip of it. It's going to come down a bit down here. Oh, let's see. That's going to go like right there. It's going to come out a little bit further too. Let's bring this down. Get this finger right there. And here we go. Maybe even a little bit closer. Okay. Whew. That took a minute. So here we go. Basic sketch of this hand. We're starting that. And we're going to push this into something complete. So let's see. Quite a lot has happened, I assume, since I've been gone. Sorian did not message me. You have an idea? An oil pastel drawing, an oil pastel with some oil pastels. Draw an oil pastel drawing with oil pastels with oil pastels. Yeah, okay. That's one way to do it. So when it gets wet, it's not smaller at all. He's built like a tack under the fur. I guess you're talking about eradicate for real. Tank. All right. Hey, take care, A. I don't know if you left already, but take care. Thanks for jumping in. Good to hear about your urban exploration. Look forward to hearing from you about your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament. Take care. Eradicate, normally fluffy rodent. He's a little bit bull muscular. Super muscular. Have a good day. Take care, everybody. All right, so yeah, very awesome to have a lot of interesting and amazing people tune in on these streams. So anyway, let's go here. What are we working on? We're getting this hand made. Oh yeah, I need some colors. I need some nails. Let's make some nails. Let's design some nails into this character here. Some nails right there. And then a nail right there. And then that's it for nails. Now it's time to tighten this up. So what is 07? Oh, are you waving? Or no, it's a flex, right? It's like a what does that 7 mean? Or is that salute? Oh, it's a salute. All right, I get it now.
Still streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, because we're gonna eat some.
All right, we're gonna eat soon. Give me a 5-minute warning.
I don't know if I can do that.
Huh?
I don't know if I can do that.
How come?
Well, here's your 5-minute warning right now.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, we're gonna do some food, people. So, what colors did I say I was gonna do? I said I was gonna focus on red and purple. So let me go with the deep purple. I'm gonna go with a deep purple into this section.
Alexa, how much time is left on the timer?
You have 9 minutes and 30 seconds.
As an
left.
RO ace person, you unironically love watching speed dating draw. What is speed dating draw? So I'm gonna get at least a couple base color down in the next minute. By the way, yeah, Deep Purple, good band. So Sraya and King Masalord, we're gonna be rapping here in a moment. But you know what? Y'all tuned in, and it is awesome to be able to stream with you. I consider this streaming with y'all. Even though you're not on camera, I definitely consider all the people that tune in as people that I stream with, not stream for. I mean, of course I'll stream for people, but I don't do it for you, I do it with you. But I could also do it for you. Yeah. On my Twitch, or I don't know if it's on my Twitch or my TikTok, I have it listed as interactive artist. I consider myself an interactive artist. There we have it, folks. We're gonna call it a wrap on tonight. Shay, I don't know if you're on TikTok, but I know we were talking about doing a full live stream so you could share some of your art on here, but gonna have to call it a night for now. Gotta take some time off for dinner. I'm gonna say, as an ROASE person, you unironically love watching speed dating shows. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Alright. So speed dating shows. I don't think I've seen too many since the days of, what was that? There was like a MTV show with Jenny McCarthy back in the day. Something Cupid something. Anyway, with that, take care everybody. Thanks for being around, and it was great streaming with y'all. So take care, have a great night. Actually, let's turn the TikTok off first. And now. Be great, be good.